The early 2000s was the age of the spy movie, but we didn't want some old stuffy fish and chips bloke. We needed something new and bold, like cool dude spies, degenerate asshole spies, girl spies, Asian spies, kid spies, and the ultimate twist on the genre, kid spies again, but this time they're horny.
Hey, I want to be in trouble.
They're horny in the movie, in the deleted scenes, in the special features.
Into your life comes an incredibly attractive, powerful woman.
In the interviews.
How hard was it for you to control yourself from staring at her chest?
Well, a lot of the time I had to, so it wasn't that hard to control it.
Seriously, why is everyone so horny? Agent Cody Banks is a 2003 action movie starring Frankie Muniz and Hilary Duff that preserves the early 2000s so precisely, it should probably be in a museum. It's got all the 2003 bases covered, from extreme sports to pop punk, and even a strong disdain for environmentalists.
Baby seals everywhere will praise your name, Doctor.
This movie does a couple things well, first and foremost being its unparalleled ability to make me cringe right out of my own skin.
Do you by any chance happen to be in special ed?
But other than that, it's surprisingly funny at times, and generally very silly.
You failed. Failed!
Maybe too silly. The movie starts us off right in the thick of things, with our main character Cody Banks first looking like he's leisurely meandering out of bed before suddenly, bam, he reacts to the imminent threat of, nothing? Dog? Once he manages to recenter his clearly troubled mind, he proceeds to the kitchen where we find his incredibly inconsequential movie family.
Hey, Dad.
Alex. Mom. Cody. Excrement.
Alex.
Excrement.
Alex, we're eating here?
As a massive fan of Malcolm in the Middle, it just feels wrong seeing him with any other movie family, like some weird alternate reality timeline that split off from that one bowling episode.
We're ready. Who's gonna drive us? I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Excuse me, I need to get through. I'm looking for my kids.
There's no kids here, that's for sure.
And that uncanny feeling is only compounded by the fact that Frankie plays pretty much the same character in this movie too.
I'm not wearing this. I look like an idiot. What do you think? I'm getting the board. I found a piece of cake in the shower.
The movie really wants us to buy that this Cody fella is a dweeby nerd on the outside, but a highly trained killing machine on the inside. So it sets up this insane situation where a toddler disengages a parking brake on a very steep hill. Where'd that kid go? As a result, Cody gets to jump in and show off his badass skateboarding skills to catch up to the car, hit the brakes, and save the day. Holy shit, that guy's hairy. But despite all that, there's still a few reasons why Cody being cool is a hard pill to swallow. Chief among these are his scrawny, boy-like physique, and the fact that anytime something actually cool is happening, they switch to some other dude that's like an entire foot taller. They use the same dude for almost every stunt in the movie, and every single time it looks weird.
Yeah, I actually did pretty much all of them. I didn't do any of the snowboarding, and I did half of the skateboarding, but all the fighting stuff, except for a couple like flips and stuff, I did.
What do you mean, Frankie? That's like all the stunts. My favorite shot of this entire sequence is the very last one, which happens to be one of only 2 shots in the entire movie of Cody actually riding a skateboard, and which also shows him straight up just falling off his board. What, they couldn't do just one more take? Help the poor guy out? Cut to this well-groomed and frightening individual, where we find ourselves watching Awkward Science Man showing off his new nanobot technology to evil business CEO. And wouldn't you know it, evil business CEO is not happy.
Can they be programmed to eat anything other than oil?
Sure, theoretically, they could be programmed to break down any silicon or carbon-based compound.
You have 10 days.
What?
Yeah, what? I'm not sure you could just yell at someone, "You have 10 days," and expect them to know what the you're talking about.
That man still has no idea what we hope to achieve.
Yeah, that's because you haven't told him. In the next scene, we're in a CIA briefing room where CIA director explains that this Dr. Connors guy is unwittingly developing the next greatest threat to humanity. CIA director, by the way, is his legal name. And as it turns out, the only way to get to Dr. Connors is through his daughter, Natalie.
I want to get close to this girl.
Why's he gotta say it like that? Fortunately for Natalie, they decide they should probably send in someone a bit more age appropriate, and boy do they have the perfect candidate. Apparently Cody's been involved in the CIA summer camp that turns children into sleeper agents, which is presumably where he picked up his X Games-like skateboarding ability, as well as the PTSD flashbacks. We then go on to Cody's school where we watch him be literally unable to speak to a girl for a full 30 seconds.
Hey, Cody.
That is until she asks what I reckon to be a harsh but reasonable question.
Are you in special ed?
So that happened. Even for 2003, it seems kind of crazy to put that in a children's movie. But this line gets even crazier once you learn that this actress is not in any other scenes in this movie, nor has she been in any other movies or TV since. This was the last line of her entire acting career.
Are you in special ed?
Anyway, we next see Cody getting ready for basketball practice when an incredibly attractive and powerful woman by the name of Veronica Miles intrudes into the high school boys' locker room. She then proceeds to disrobe one child and assault several others. After which, this exchange happens.
Bubblegum in a dish.
How many pieces do you wish?
This apparently means it's CIA time, which also means it's more time for Mr. CIA Director. Have I mentioned he's a f***ing lunatic?
I want to get close to this girl. It's in the eyes. Creepy. Somebody has got to teach this kid how to talk to a girl.
Sorry about that. Naturally, the next step in the spy movie checklist is the gadget scene, and this movie does not disappoint. No, I'm sorry, it will disappoint you.
I prepared a number of dope items, which I think you're gonna be down with.
First up, we have the X-ray glasses, lifted straight from The World Is Not Enough 4 years prior, Triple X 1 year prior, and similarly to both, also immediately used to sexually harass women. Next up is the,
It's a state-of-the-art mobile command center with a holographic audio-visual display and a personal GPS transceiver.
good phone with the shitty display and GPS. They also give him a watch that has a button on it that shocks people if they press it. You know, like a toy. As well as this radical looking skateboard that's so sick they don't tell you one thing about it, nor is there one single shot in the entire movie of him riding it. Oh, and they also give him $5,000 cash.
What for?
I think they buy things with it, I believe.
And that's all of them. That's all the gadgets. I said that weirdly because we find out later that wasn't actually all the gadgets. So here's the plan. Cody gets transferred to the same school this girl goes to and is placed in all her classes. And so begins his campaign of seduction.
Are those books?
Despite a solid attempt, he doesn't manage to make much progress, and his first go at it ends a lot like his last one.
Do you by any chance happen to be in special ed?
I guess maybe once was okay, but 2 times, movie? We're gonna need some sort of apology. Thankfully, they put one right here in the DVD. Regarding the references to special ed in the movie, we in no way meant to be insensitive to kids with special educational needs. Yeah, you did. That's why you said it. Oh, sweet, free candy. Anyways, first try didn't go so well, so he has to try again in driver's ed class, in what ends up being a very peculiar scene. Cody shows up and it's pretty clear this girl does not like him. It's her turn to drive first, and she ends up being kind of a shitty driver. Next up, Frankie takes the wheel and shows her how it's done, demonstrating his impressive driving skills, panicking the driver's ed instructor, and winning her heart in the process. Now, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but we have some things to discuss. As I first watched this whole sequence, I got this weird itch in the back of my mind, like I'd seen this whole thing before, but slightly differently. Then I remembered there was actually an episode of Malcolm in the Middle that had something like this. So I put it on and watched as this girl and guy are taking driving lessons, and it's obvious the girl doesn't like him very much. She drives first, but she's not too good at it, so then it's his turn to drive, and the emergency brake seems to be broken, and he demonstrates his impressive driving ability while also winning over the girl, and the weirdest part is the song. When I first heard the song in the movie, I was convinced it was the eternal banger, In Too Deep by Sum 41, but it's not. It's actually some shitty clone written the year after. But as it turns out, the one place you actually can hear In Too Deep is in the Malcolm in the Middle episode. So basically what I'm saying is, that's pretty weird. Anyway, Cody goes back to the CIA where they finally discover he's not the best with the ladies. So they assemble a crack team of experts to help him get up to speed in what is by far the most bizarre sequence of events in the movie.
Gotta close, Cody.
Any species is predicated upon mating.
You see this thing here? First, you gotta let her know she looks fresh. Pay her compliments about her hair and her dress.
You gotta be smart. Get some dirt on her. No, you wanna be dank and dusky and musky. Let's all smell. She's gotta smell it. You gotta smell like a man.
This goes on for almost 2 minutes before culminating in a deranged fugue of yells and insults.
Like a hyena. To be a hyena.
I think you are a pathetic loser.
But that's still not all, because then they have the Gadgets man create this virtual holographic hoe to try and test Cody, and she's like 25, and everyone's horny again, and it's all really weird, and can we please move on? In the next scene, Cody's back at school when he sees Natalie breaking every workplace ladder guideline, before watching her fall off and heroically coming to her rescue. Before we move on, I should note here that she quite literally lets go of the ladder before falling, and combine that with the massive grin on her face while in a sideways car going 30 miles an hour, I'm starting to question whether she wants to keep living. So Cody pulls up up to Natalie's party, swarming with all sorts of strange and grimy individuals.
There is no such thing as a coincidence.
Puts a tracker on Natalie in the most awkward way humanly possible, and sneaks down to her dad's lab where we finally get to see some real gadgetry. First up, we have the laser cutting pen that's used more total times than the phone or the watch that might sound unfamiliar because they never bothered introducing to us. Next, we get to discover that the secret of the weird looking skateboard is that it turns into a weird looking skateboard. And lastly, we get to the magical iPod they also neglected to ever mention, and probably for very good reason. It does whatever the they wanted to. In this scene, it's a discreet satellite probe camera. In the next scene, it's a tension pulley for ripping off the Mission Impossible rope scene. And later in the movie, he even uses it to decode an electronic combination lock. But no, please, tell me more about the watch with the spicy electric button. Anyway, the science man continues with his nanobot demonstration, this time intending to destroy the shiny, solid material I believe they call metal? What was it he said again about what specifically the nanobots can eat?
They can be programmed to break down any silicon or carbon-based compound.
Oh right, metal, that famously silicon or carbon-based compound. And before anyone tries going on about alloys, yes, I know steel has some single-digit percentage of carbon in it, you pathetic nerds. Once everyone leaves, Cody sneaks in with his dope-ass suction cup shoes to try and get a sample of the stuff. And despite having watched a solid block of metal dissolve into nothing mere moments ago, he puts the nanobots in his shoe. In his shoe! After his shoe starts dissolving, he even tries smacking it out with his hands like it's a fire. And in case we're still not clear, metal is not a carbon-based compound, but human skin sure is. Cody then makes a run for it, and despite having literally no way out, gets away due to some good fortune, I guess, and ducks.
Ducks.
Ducks. Back at CIA headquarters, Cody's now officially off the case because he got in a fight at the party, and apparently that's front page news for this high school paper. Him and Natalie go for some ice cream at the local diner, and instead find this freaky son of a bitch waiting to kidnap her. Cody doesn't manage to stop them, but he does get a few good hits in with these weird frying pan shaped bongos. Using the tracker he gave her earlier, Cody manages to locate Natalie somewhere in the mountains because apparently they remembered to take away his security badge, but not literally every other gadget he had. So he breaks into the CIA, steals a car, drives to the port, hands this geezer a wad of cash, and somehow flies to the peak of this mountain. Look, I'm no expert, but I don't think planes can do that. Let's ask my friend, the plane expert.
Yeah.
Hey, can planes do that?
What? No.
All right, man, thanks.
A single-engine seaplane with metal floats landing on a damn near vertical incline the size of my asshole, covered in snow no less? What the were these guys smoking? I swear, they always shaft the pilots in these damn things. No respect.
Okay, good talk. What was I doing? Anyway, after bombing down the hill and lighting this guy on fire, that sounds painful, Cody gets stuck in a tree. Veronica then joins him on her state-of-the-art personal aerocopter. Whoops, don't mind those cables they forgot about. And Cody hops on. They make their way to the secret evil cave lair, and after using their expert CIA stealth techniques of literally just walking in and hiding behind a big rock, Cody has an epiphany.
So that's how they're doing it. The ice cubes. That's how they plan to distribute the nanobots. Everyone uses ice cubes. No one will know what hit them.
Huh? The plan is to distribute nanobots with ice cubes? Well, that's f***ing stupid. What does that even mean? What, are they gonna break into CIA refrigerators and swap out every cube in the tray? And what if they have refrigerators to make the ice themselves? And what the hell happened to attacking the guidance system to a Russian SS-18 intercontinental ballistic missile? What the fuck is any of this? Anyway, they then proceed to find Natalie in this weird fumigation dome looking thing and just sit there until they get caught. Evil business CEO then tells the science guy that if he doesn't go through with reprogramming the nanobots, he's gonna melt nanobots on his daughter's head. And you know what she says?
Dad, don't do it.
Don't do it! You are moments away from having your skull eroded like one of those fancy chocolate ball dessert things. And you tell your dad don't do it? First the car thing, then the ladder situation, and now this? This chick wants to die. Or at the very least, she's a psychopath fiending for chaos. Because next chance she gets, she picks up the nanobots and shoves them right into this guy's mouth. And since we're all wondering, this is what that looks like. Holy shit. That's badass. So Cody sets off some bombs and the place comes crashing down, and they do the whole escape the crumbling building thing, and just when it looks to all be over, the movie's gotta punch you in the dick one last time. Hey movie, f you. You one for just having a jump scare, especially since who the is screaming here? And you too for being so fucking smug about it.
Were you scared when Arnold came up again behind Frankie?
Oh, yeah. My dad and me both jumped.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. Then I've done a good job then.
No, you did not do a good job. Harold Zwart. This is not a good action movie. It's also a pretty bad spy movie, but it is a surprisingly hilarious comedy. There were genuinely a few times this movie caught me off guard and really made me laugh. CIA director and Earl Gadget's man in particular had me rolling, but pretty much every character has a legitimately funny line at least once in the movie.
No place for a gun in there, right?
Everyone, that is, except for Frankie.
You know, maybe you should try decaf.
All things considered, the whole thing ends up closer to a spoof on the genre than an actual spy movie. And the crazy part is that the lead production designer was chosen for his ability to create that specific quality.
Finding the production designer was really critical because I wanted this movie to look and have the feel of the old agent movies and all that. Rusty Smith is totally into old designers like Ken Adam, and having come off of Austin Powers, I thought he was a fun choice.
He came directly from working on Austin Powers, the quintessential spoof on the spy movie. It's all really funny. I'm just not sure it's always supposed to be. Hey all, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much. Big thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, and a huge shout out to Christian Kierley. Hey man, you're the best. Becoming a member of my Patreon not only directly supports my dream of becoming a clown on the internet, it also gets you access to all kinds of goodies like early and uncensored videos, your name in the credits, and a bonus director's commentary video which shows edit breakdowns, extra footage, cut gags, which I film live on my Twitch channel, and for this video it's going to be happening this Saturday, September 4th. So come hang out. Okay, bye.